All right, morning tubers. So we're sitting here today. We didn't put anything in the stock pot last night because we're gonna figure something out about that. I had got a question about why is it brown. Yeah, it's brown because the copper is plating out onto the iron that's in the solution from the base metals and stuff like that. And when you have more iron than you do copper in your solution, the copper is going to want to plate out and take place of that iron. I did a little research, watched a few videos, and basically, if you want answers to your questions and you have a lot of questions and stuff like that, the gold forum. Go hit up the gold forum. There's a bunch of them out there, but there's one in particular that's really great, and they will answer all your questions and just soak up the information. Another place is CM Hulk. She has a book. Other, recovery specialists and refinists swear by it. They swear it is like the book to read. And so I did a little bit of reading into it. So this again isn't acid peroxide. It's just hydrochloric acid with the oxygen. Now, if that makes that much of a difference, because I know the peroxide just kind of is a catalyst to add the oxygen and get it going. But a lot of people say, well, why don't you just add some more peroxide to it? I'm never going to add peroxide to that. That's not my process. That's not what I'm doing. This is not what I want. I don't want more chemicals in that jar than what I know and feel comfortable working with. So I'm not going to add more peroxide, but I think I'm going to try something. I think, we're going to go and we're going to add a little more HCl to it, bring the acidity up. In fact, I'm going to do a pH test and see if maybe that'll tell us. That's another thing. Test your solutions. You got, your Stannis test that you can test to see maybe, some people said, hey, maybe you turned it into aqua regia. And that could be the case. But I'm getting negative tests, so we'll do one on camera here. And if you guys want to know how to make your own stannous chloride, I'll put up a video. There's a few other videos. It's just silly easy how to make it, and you can do it with the ingredients you already have if you're at this step right here. But so let me get things set up, and we're gonna figure out what's going on with this solution. And also, I just thought we would go back. It's the weekend. I'm still in my slippies. Yeah, I'm not doing much of nothing with this. So no, I'm in my slippies. I'm not touching it or nothing. I'm having my morning cup of coffee, answering some questions, and I think we're gonna take apart some TVs today. Why not? You got to collect the material in order to put it in the jar. And, a lot of people start off with TVs and stuff. Everybody's got a blown TV in their house. So if you got a blown TV, you want to learn about it. Don't go taking your baby's TV out of her room and start taking it apart or nothing. Don't do that. But if you guys got a blown TV and you want to kind of check it out, we'll get into it here. And as always, safety first. I gotta put it out here. Some people don't listen, and that's their business. That's their eyes. That's their hands. But gloves. Just a simple pair of mechanics gloves. Something, just especially depending on the type of TVs you're working with, because it has a lot of glass, a lot of sharp parts on it. You just don't want to wreck your hands. You really don't. And glasses. All right, so everybody's got a pair somewhere. Somewhere you got a pair. Someplace. If not, find some. And then I hear a lot, well, I can't see with safety glasses on. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm old man. Let's see if we can get in there. Yeah, I got ones with bifocals, so I can actually see better. So for all you guys out there that are saying that they can't see when they got the glasses on, bullarchy. You can find a set. They're everywhere. They're at dollar stores. For you guys up here that work in the mines, you get prescription ones given to you. There's no excuse to not wear some glasses. Ain't that right? And we're probably not going to hopefully need that, but if we do, guys, we always got it, because you just never know. Especially if it starts getting a little cold in here, and I might start up the heater a little bit, warm it up in here. So yeah, again, safety. Paramount, number one. Tools. I got a couple out here. I don't know. I always got some tools laying around on here. You can do this with just just a screwdriver, just a couple screwdrivers. You don't need no special tools or nothing like that. You just need to take your time and know what you're kind of getting into, because things look all nice and tidy in a little package. But I tell you what, as soon as you start taking parts off of there, it just explodes into this big mess. Why do you think I know it looks clean right now, but why do you think I have such a big workbench? And not because I need one, not because I'm compensating for nothing, but for the fact that one little TV like that is going to cover this whole workbench by the time I'm done with it. So that's up to you and your space and your dealings. Me, I like to get it all done at once and get it all put into its different boxes and different containers and stuff. And just get her out of the way and get the next one up and moving. So let's get a TV up here and let's check it out. All right, so here we have your run-of-the-mill, I think it's like a, 28, 30, I don't think, it might be a 32-inch. Either way, size doesn't really matter in this case, and you'll see what I'm talking about later. But just your run-of-the-mill LED flat screen TV. You're going to find these guys everywhere. Everywhere. They're just everywhere, and people chuck them out. They're a little different than the old school CRT TVs, and we'll get videos on that. And the plasma down there, we'll take care of that. But let's just stick with the LED TVs. You're going to find them everywhere. Again, I don't know. Sometimes people cut the cords off because they just don't want people using their stuff. Other people come by and clip the cords just because they want to collect the cords. But just so you guys know, this was a fully functioning TV. It was. I hooked up a little bit to it from the inside, and I checked it out. It's fully functioning, and that's just a bummer, because maybe there could have been somebody that used it. I don't resell things. That's not my deal, because I don't have the capability to deal with that stuff. Somebody wants to come over to my shop or work out something like that, but I don't eBay, I don't do none of that stuff, because it's just too much. I mean, making videos and hanging out with you guys is enough for me in my day. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around, and you got screws down in there, and there's screws everywhere. Oh, there's gonna be screws all over the place, all the way, everywhere. And they're gonna be all over here. I tell you what, to make it simple, if it's got a screw, if there's a screw head sticking out somewhere, take it out. If you're just gonna scrap it out, it doesn't matter anyways. And they like to hide them up in here sometimes on these boards, you know, up along there. Just if it's a screw, take her out, man. If you ain't putting it back together, then get rid of the screws. Why muck around, huh? All right, so we're gonna take the screws out, and we'll get right back to you. All right, so when you're ripping, all the screws out and you're getting it all, and you're like, you start trying to get some of these off, and you're like, I swear I took all the screws off. I don't know. I've seen a couple people struggle with this a few times. So I'm here to tell you that on the back, if they got a coax cable input for the TV, there's a nut around that coax cable connector right there, that guy right there. You don't take that off, you're going to rip all the guts out. It's just going to happen. So, yeah, take that nut right there off of there, guys, and it'll come right off. Little tip from Scrooge. Son of a mother. Go, sassafras. Get up. Get. Okay. All right, so we weeble wobbled that thing off, and we got it loose here. Yeah, that's it, guys. This is it. This is really the biggest board you're gonna have in these new TVs nowadays, because you got your inputs coming in. They don't even make them on different boards anymore or anything like that. Yeah, so let's get that guy off. I think he just controls the whatever. I mean, it's a power board, and I do believe it's kind of, what do they call it, a logic board or a TCOM board? I think it's all in one nowadays, fellas. So you really, there's not a lot to these TVs. So you got to be resourceful when you do this. Either this guy, that's plastic. That's plastic with a little metal studs in there, little guys that you can work with. If you're a micro scrapper, man, have at it. And I micro scrap in my basement all the time too. I don't throw away screws and nuts. Like you might have seen, I don't throw them away. Actually, I take them and I put them inside of my old microwaves or washers or dryers, whatever. Don't get rid of those screws. Somebody told me that once, and I laughed when I first started. You know what? I have probably 500 pounds of screws now. And steel ain't much, but that's clean steel. So it adds a few more pennies to the pounds. And if you take that and multiply that number by the price of steel today, that's a few more dollars than I had if I would have thrown them away. So let's get this board off and let's just see what we're working with. I'm going to get this off here too so you guys kind of get a look in there. God, told them it was going to easy. They only needed a screwdriver. Now they're not going to believe me. Oh my God. No, all jokes aside, guys, it really is easy. You just get them screws out, and you'll see. There'll be a couple speakers in there, you know, and they'll be attached here. You just pop them off the board. Make sure it hasn't been plugged in for a while, and you can go, and that's the cap right there. That guy right there is the capacitor. So, yeah, these just come off. So if you're worried about it, and I don't think this one is, but we're going to get it on footage if it is, you just touch them two rubber-handled pliers, fellas. Rubber handle. Don't do this with just an old pair of metal ones and have leather gloves on, but you just touch them too. And see, that's the cap right there. If it had any charge to it whatsoever, it would have done popped. You would have seen sparks. I would have said a few words, you know, but yeah. And if it really starts, if it concerns you that much and you think that that's not enough, again, rubber grips, and just pop it, fellas. Just, there's one, there's two, and there you go. Now it's not touching the board. It's not going to cause you any problem. And if you really want to go one step further to it, just grab your pliers. I know I'm having a hard time. Grab your pliers, pull it out. That is a, yeah. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, 250 volts. So, yeah, that guy's going to give you a little bit of woo when you get that. So, no, that's a way you can check if you want. You can use voltmeters if you want. Just get it out of the equation. And the boards will tell you, too. If you want to know what not to touch, see that hot that goes all the way up and down here? This is going to be the power, fellas. So you stay off that hot side until you know what you're doing. And you'll be all right. So okay, so this has to be the T-con board down here, hidden down in here in the finger strip area. So that comes from your main board. And I don't know what half the terms are, but that's all right. That's all right. All I know is this has some gold in it. That guy down there has got some silver in him. And I know that this is going to go into my board stash, and I'll depopulate this later. But they're just really still. Isn't much. Is a little. Is that gold? Yeah, that's gold. There's a little gold flashing on them, you know, and they go into my gold flashing bucket. And you guys will see me take stuff off of it and so on. We'll get into that. But let me get them boards off of there for you, and we'll move on to the next. All right, so we just had a screw right here holding down the electrical wire. So that's pretty much just, yeah, that's not nothing. That comes right out. And so these ribbon cables, if you come down in here, get on in there, they will actually pull out. It's kind of hard to do one-handed. Yeah, that's hard to do one-handed, guys. But they will. They'll come out. Some of them have little flaps, and you lift up the little latches. Some of them just come right out. And let's see, what does it have on it? Does it have anything on it today? Yeah, you got a little gold in there today, fellas. I'll trim that down as close as I can. Sorry about the camera. I will trim that down as close as I can to those gold fingers. I'll throw that gold into the stock pot there. Nice, clean gold. And the other connector down here kind of squeezes. You can get a little rocking motion there. And don't forget these ends. I mean, these ends, they got a little gold in them, guys. Like, I don't know if that's showing up, but they got gold in them. Not much. Anyway, so then I take the ribbon cord. I'll clip those ends off, and I'll get that plastic. You don't want to throw that plastic into your stock pot for the most part. It's just a waste. And you don't want to throw this backing into it because that's aluminum. You don't really want that stuff floating around in there. Anyways, and the rest of it just goes into my low-grade copper wire that I have buckets and buckets of. So, yeah, let's just get that. We're going to put that over there. And here's the board. Got a couple wires on it running out to the LEDs on the back of the screen. Just clip them off there. Or you can take them off up here too. I mean, then you don't got wires hanging down. It's just hard to do one-handed. Again, low-grade wire. Here's your board. Take your power cord off of here. This one-handed business is for the birds. I'll get that figured out for you guys. There's another bit of wire. Why not? It's gonna go into your wire bucket and it'll add up. And for all you micro scrappers, let me get a little pointer here. Yeah, we'll use this guy. So you got some copper here and you got copper here. You can get them out and they're fun to unspool. Wintertime when you're bored, why not? You got a form of a transformer right here. Those taking that tape off of them is a chore. So some people just throw them into their copper motor or copper bearing material, and the yards take them like that. I don't know, you'll have to check your yard and see what you have to do. We got a few IC chips right here, which are nice. That's what I'm looking for. Some more. Remember, the more the legs they have, the more the chance that the bonding wires, if they're gold, the more gold they're going to have in there. Some don't always have gold. Some of them don't. I mean, on cheap electronics, they really don't have gold. This guy here is silver. Everybody sees them. They're everywhere. You never really see anybody process them because they're rough. There's a lot of hand-to-hand combat when it comes to these guys. But if you get enough of them and you figure out a process, let me know because I've got jars and jars of them. Let's see. You got some more little copper spools. I know my camera's not, but if you want to look for like MLCCs and stuff, you can find them on these boards as well. So they're fun to collect. Inside of these USBs, they're going to be really small. It's going to be really thin, but I promise you, inside those USBs, there's going to be a little bit of gold. I wonder if I can get an angle. I can't really. But there's going to be some gold in those USBs. Some of these, believe it or not, some of these RCA ports up here are plated in gold. And it looks brass. And you think it's brass. Some of them may be. But there are some of them out there that are gold. If you give me 1 second, I will be right back and show you. I promise. Here we go. Higher end RCA jacks. Yeah, that's not brass. That is gold. Some of them may be brass, but a lot of them that are brass, they got that just the tin color. They're not really actually like a dark, deep brass. So I take all of these, all of them, and you find them everywhere because they're just higher end. They need that gold to make that contact, and you want a really good contact. So yeah, these are gold plated. And if you don't believe me, like I always say, bring them on over to me. I'll take them for free. I'll get those out of the way, guys, and we'll come back. We'll come back to this. All right, so we got the T-COM board right here. I think this is what sends the signal to each side of the screen, or just to the screen, to the finger strip boards that are hiding down in here, and we'll get a look in there. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not a technician, like I said, but I do know that that is gold. So we'll take a little closer look at that, maybe by the fume hood. But don't get excited, that is just gold flashing. It's very, very thin. All right, so we got it flipped over here. Yeah, you see my fingerprints on there. Yeah, I was giving her the what for. But this basil, bonnet, whatever, this trim piece, you just flip it over, make sure there's no screws in there, and it'll pretty much come off. But this plastic, guys, I was goofing with a bunch just a couple weeks ago, or a week ago. And yeah, that plastic is no joke, fellas. It will come back to get you. So gloves wouldn't have helped up there, but a long sleeve shirt that you don't care about sure does. So yeah, it may be plastic, but those suckers can be sharp. So we're gonna take this, and this is just gonna go into my plastic pile. I usually stack up my plastic in a corner, and once a week I'll run it over to the local dump. Not only because then I get to clean my shop and I get rid of it, but guess what? You want to find junk, guys? Go where it's at. I mean, you don't go to a used car lot to find a brand new car. So think about where you're at. If you're looking for stuff, be where it is. So now these screens. I know people, they're thin. They are glass. Try not to crack them. They're glass or either way, they're really nasty if you start cracking them, and they shard up and they start flying all over the place, and you don't want to do that. I don't know the value in them. I know I've got a spot over here. Excuse me, sir. Back here, you'd probably be able to see a little corner of them back there. Yeah. Okay, so I put them back there behind this big thing so it doesn't take up room. Yeah, that's the one that bit me. And I put them back there because I don't know. Do they take up much space? No. Are they a bother? Maybe. Are they worth money? I have no idea. So they've been worth storing and saving back there for the last year for me. And when I do have time, or if one of you guys know, let me know if there were some. If they're not, eventually I'm just going to get rid of them. But you never take your first answer. You always look into things, and don't take the first thing that pops up on Google. I mean, look at it, but do a little more in-depth into your research than the first thing that pops up. Yeah, wow, let me be the first one to say I was wrong on this TV, guys. There isn't even a finger strip board on the back of it. You got your filters, and they're useful for things. We'll come into that. I made my sign back there, which is not on for some reason. It says Scrooge McDuckin at YouTube. If you don't know, go check it out. Go check out my channel. We do a lot of fun stuff over there. You like refining and gold? Well, go check it out. Go check it out. I ain't getting into that in this video. Yeah, I just don't know. Just don't know. They always usually have a finger strip board in the back. This is the first one ever, and I've taken apart plenty. And that's the first time I never had a finger strip board. So I'm wondering if this was the finger strip board. So a finger strip board here. And I'm wondering if this is, in fact, the T-com board with this right here on it. And this being the power board. Either way, guys, this is what you get out of nowadays TVs. It is not much. I do the best I can with what I do, and I reuse them sometimes for shop lights and give them to friends. They're really flat. I don't like the light that comes off of some of these. It gives me a headache in my shop, so I tend to use some other lights. But that's, whoa, that is it, guys. So we're going to look more into that stock pot over there, and we'll do an update, and we'll feed the stock pot in the evening time there. So if you guys want to go check that out, go check that out. For all the new people, I'm Scrooge McDuckin. We took this apart today. For all the people that have been coming back to my channel, thank you so much for the support. And as always, I love you, and go wash your face.